My name is Fáris Ismail. I work in finance sector in online performance marketing for several years. I come from the Czech Republic, from Prague, and we're running out of time. So let's go to the presentation. Let's go to the agenda. Today we have seen from other speakers. We have seen the Firebase running app. We have seen Angular Fire, and we have seen the authorization. Even we didn't see the authentication methods, so I will go a little bit faster during these sessions. However, what I want to find out is somebody using FIRESTORE? Hands up. I can see one guy. Okay, great. So first of all, does anybody here doesn't know what Firebase is? Don't be shy. Okay. And who's using Firebase in production? Wow, great. Okay. So Firebase is a real-time NoSQL backend database. It works as a service in cloud. It's cloud-hosted. It's owned by Google and supported by Google. It was actually bought by, this company was bought like 6-7 years ago. And the Firebase is well known for its ecosystem, as it offers the hosting, it offers the cloud functions, it offers the JSON storage, it offers the Angular Fire connection to the Google storage, to the authentication, and so on. So basically, when you want to run an app, and when you want to real-time synchronization, you can go for the Firebase. You can go for the RefingDB. However, the RefingDB is open sourced and it's not a cloud solution. You can go for new startup company, which is called Rapid Database, which is actually in Prague-based company. And you can, of course, use the Firebase. So basically, the Firebase has been on the market for like 6 years. And I was involved in the alpha testing for the new coming flagship of Google database, which is called FIRESTORE. The FIRESTORE is basically going to be the new flagship, new product from Google. And I do not say that it will change the way we store data in JSON. It will not change the way we work with Firebase, because both of the databases will be there and will be running for a few years, certainly. But I will go straightly to the FIRESTORE to show you a few changes, few things that you need to know what's the difference. So basically, when you have a Firebase, you can imagine like a JSON. It's a simple JSON structure. You can save data into JSON, and that's it. You can set different branches in the JSON on keys. You can set security rules. You can set other things with cloud functions. I will show you later on with the FIRESTORE. But there is one thing. Has anybody here had the issue with Firebase that you can do only deep query? Put your hands up. Yeah. So the case is that when you want to query Firebase database, you always query a certain key, which in the JSON, which basically means that you get everything behind, all the data behind the JSON. So that's one thing. Secondly, has anybody here had the issue with order by in Firebase that you want to do order by query by filtering, sorting, or double order by? Yeah, it's always the same, the common issues. So FIRESTORE basically has improved querying. I'll show you just in a second. It's real-time synchronization, the same as the Firebase. It has offline support, plus it supports the web, as Firebase does not. And it automatically autoscales. So I'll show you what autoscale means. Basically, so when you query in a Firebase, and we had a presentation about finding a pet in Boston. Imagine that in Boston you have 2 million, 5 million pets. And you will query a certain collection in the JSON in Firebase. Basically, it will take a while. However, in FIRESTORE, it works totally different. Your query scale is to the size of your result set, which basically means that if you are searching, no matter how much the data set might become, the speed will be the same. which results in the system that Google will spin up the servers, and they will basically give you the performance you need. So you don't even have to worry anymore whether under one collection you have 1 million JSONs, little JSONs data sets, or 100 data sets, or 10. So basically, if you are looking for 10 top restaurants in Poland for a restaurant review app, and it will take the same amount of time whether you are looking for 300 restaurants or 300,000 when you have it in the FIRESTORE saved. So basically, it automatically scales up. That's the main feature. Second feature is the querying system, because you can query by multiple order by, you can query by less, greater, equal to, and so on, and you can basically mix it together. So that's the main difference. But what I want to show you with regards to the FIRESTORE is that when we go to the database, you can have a look that it's still in beta. You can see it. So I do not really offer you this solution for production-ready application, but it works in the way that you have a collection. Under that collection, you have document, and under the document, you have fields, you have the data, you have the content. So it's totally different. It's not just a JSON file. It has collections, documents, and then the data. You can, of course, have collection, sub-collections, and documents. So it's kind of the same like Firebase, but they had to, in Google, they had to develop a little bit different strategy. So, for example, if you want to do a collection of books, you can set up books, you can go next, you can auto-generate the document, you can put the author, you can put the Darius, whatever, and save it, and that's it. And we can have a look that we have collection of books, so we can imagine it's the same in the Firebase, like a key books. Then we have a document, and under the document, we have fields. In the fields, under the document, we can even save an object. So that's a different kind of a story. And you basically save the data as you are used to in Firebase. However, as I said, there is no such a thing as a backup. You can see there is no tab next to it, because kind of they have to develop it in a different structure, different way, because you have to say what is collection, what is document, what might be the sub-collection. So the FIRESTORE will bring you the performance, and it will bring you a new Angular Fire. Today we have seen the issues with Angular Fire, and I'm really, I wouldn't say sad or happy for my colleague, because I had the same issues. So what I just wanted to show you is that if you go to Angular Fire, which is the official library for wrapping up the Angular together with the Firebase, you use the same library as for Firebase. However, you just have to set it up in different way. Can you hear me still? Yeah. And they are releasing just one version, almost release candidate every 2 weeks, every week, because as I said before, the FIRESTORE was just released 7 weeks ago in beta. So you have to go to the version 5 in order to use the FIRESTORE, and you have to check a little bit different that it works kind of different way. That's the magic value changes. We saw the issue today. So you have to be really aware of using the Angular Fire library. However, it's still the same as you are used to in version 4. The version 5 is almost the same, except it enables us to develop things with regards to the FIRESTORE. So, one more thing I want to show you, because we have a demo app and we have a playtime. So I will really briefly tell you what Cloud Function is. Cloud Functions, you can imagine the AWS Lambda. So anybody is familiar with AWS Lambda? Yeah, I can see the hands. So basically, it's a snippet of code running in NodeJS environment. Currently, it supports version 6, which basically means that you can't use async await. However, they are working on it to be 8.x version. And you can snip certain piece of code, send it directly to the Google. They will spin up their servers. And when you want to invoke the Cloud Function, they will automatically run it. And it will trigger based on the HTTP, based on the FIRESTORE or Firebase hooks, Imagine that you have a JSON file in the Firebase, you have a JSON file in Firebase, it's the same, and it works like a watcher. So basically, you can trigger it when something happens. When you delete a document in collection, when you update a document in collection, when you change data in the collection, when you create a new user, it's up to you. It depends how you set up the trigger. So basically, the Cloud Functions works as a snippet of Node.js environment serverless unit. You send it to the Google Cloud. The Google Cloud does the job on its infrastructure. When you need the performance, like 1 million invocations, 10,000, Google does the job. That's it. So that's the Cloud Functions. One more thing that we have seen today was the authentication. It's very easy with Firebase to set up the authentication. It works with the JWT, which is the JSON Web Tokens. We have seen from the previous presentation, and I can show you just in 30 seconds, 1 minute, how to set it up. It's really fast, it's easy, and you can set up even the social logins. You can set up the normal email and password. So if you go to Firebase, or if you go to the FIRESTORE, it's the same. The only issue is kind of with the Angular Fire, with the library, even with the documentation, that you have to use the authentication from Firebase. Cloud Functions are officially or were officially named Firebase Cloud Functions. But when you connect to the database, you have to say explicitly, I want to connect to the FIRESTORE, which is the different product. So basically, if you go to the authentication, sign-in methods, and then you set up the Google, you can put there enable, you have to put there some other issues. You can basically go to Twitter, you have to API key, API secret. So once you enable all these checks and save it, we will not do it because I will show you a demo application in a second. It just simply works once you are using the Angular Fire. So I can show you the snippet of the source code, which is very simple. Angular Fire 2/auth. You can see it here, Angular FIRESTORE, and that's the connection to the FIRESTORE instead of the Firebase. And then you can have a look at the auth service that I did, which is just basically using Google login, Facebook login, GitHub login, and email login. It automatically, once you enable these accounts in the authentication in Firebase, you can see the providers. Once we get the providers and the user signs in, we do kind of a job that we send it to auth login, which will create a sign-in with pop-up, and the user will have to confirm it, and then we do some things in the database, like update user data. I'll show you just in a second. So that's, that's the easy part. The question which today was not asked is, how do we use it in the Node.js? So basically, once you set up the sign-in method, it can be email, password, it can be Google, it can be Facebook, Twitter, whatever you want, basically. What you can do is using the Firebase auth current get token is getting the token, which we have seen today from Manfred's presentation. I created just the token here. You can see the function. There it is. So you can see that when I call the get token console log, that's the token. And if you get this token, you could use the admin SDK for Node.js. And once you use the Node.js admin SDK for Firebase, you can basically use the verify ID token to get all the data. And if you use Node.js and Express, some of you might be familiar with Express, then you have whole authentication system where you can basically generate new password, you can set up the ecosystem, and you don't have to create your own, reinvent the wheel again. So basically, that's about the authentication. And what I really wanted to show you is to go to this app. So I would like to ask you, all of you, if you can take your mobile and just right now go to the app. I will put it on the left side so you can see still the link. And I will show you this one and show you how it works. So this is the app. Oh, log in. And you can log in basically with a few methods. What I did is that you can put there your email. It will auto-generate the password because it's more comfortable just right now. You can connect with Google, you can connect with GitHub or Facebook. So let me connect with my email just for the sake of this presentation. And when I log in, there is a little questionnaire which I would like you to take, all of you, on mobile. So once you put something, I hope there is nobody with React. Silence, that's great. Okay, so you can put there here something about your experience. And because the break is coming, and I'm sure that all of you are tired, you can tell me that whether you want the tea or you prefer the coffee. And once you send it, you should see this screen, and you should see the dynamic graph, the dynamic app, that in the real time, as you put more data, you can see the sharing, you can see the real synchronization. So that's what the FIRESTORE, what the Firebase does. So that's actually the real-time data. You're voting, you are putting the questionnaire answers. How it works behind the scenes. Basically, let me show you this one. And I'll be happy to we got some Angular guys. So what happens is that when you put data and users, I can see that there are these users, and when you fill it in, these are the documents. So when you log in, for every user, you can see the blank, the orange one or yellow one, which means new user was coming. It was just updated the database, which means that when a new user basically logs in and clicks submit, it automatically updates the database as a document in the collection of users. And then there is a cloud function that was deployed before to the Google Cloud, and it works on the trigger on a write. So basically what happens is that when there is a change, new document was added or an information was changed in the document, it automatically reads the data, spins the server, and gets the total, and then it shows the chart. So this is how the cloud function looks like. Firebase functions, Firebase admin, and so on. There is only one thing that you have to be aware once you will start working with the Firebase. If you put here Firebase, it will watch in the Firebase database and you will not know the error because there is no such error. It will work. So it's kind of a lucky one. And you can see that we are looking for the collection users. Once the new document is added on a write event, we can get the document, and then what we do is we push it to promises. We do the query where drink is equal to coffee. Then we get the collection data. And once we use the query snapshot size, we get the total sum, and that's it. And the same we do for T, the same we do for the front-end technology, and so on. So that's how the cloud function works. That's how the FIRESTORE works. And I would like to show you this real synchronization. And I can see that we have some people with React 22. I don't like it. Vue 5. Ember 2. But actually, I really don't like the blue color. I mean, 23 guys. Wow. 23 people on the dark side. So, because it's real time, I'm going to cheat. So, you can see the screen. You can see it even on your mobiles. You can see it's real-time synchronized everywhere. The Firebase had the limit, at least it was on their website, 100,000 users, 100,000 devices simultaneously. The FIRESTORE should be more than 100,000. So we still have a planned in ngPoland conference. Anyway, the Angular, the React, 0, because we don't like these guys. Oh, new guy just came and he did the voting. Oh, well, I didn't think about this one. Again. Okay, so you can see the real time in action. So that's how it works. And we can see the data because I didn't show you. So it doesn't look like a Gauss curve because it should be like this one. So it's kind of different. But yeah, it's nice. 25 people. I would say the most people, they have 6 years experience in IT, then 10 years and more. I mean, that's pretty awesome, really. And one thing is that I just spoke to Darius, and he told me, hey, I'm sorry, we're running out of coffee. Sorry, guys. So 90 people are going for coffee, 58 for tea. So yeah, so that's the real-time synchronization. You can do the same app using Firebase. You can, of course, use the FIRESTORE, and you can see the capabilities. And remember, the benefit of FIRESTORE is it doesn't matter on the data set you have, how large it is, you just get the performance and the speed. But you will have to play with the Angular Fire, because Angular Fire is currently in version 5, release candidate 4, and they just change it all the time. The documentation changes, and you have to be patient a little bit. Okay, thank you very much. And by this talk, I wanted to inspire you in the FIRESTORE, which I see in 3 months or 4 months might be out of the beta version. So I wish you good luck with the Angular Fire and your apps in real time. Thank you again. Thanks.